Today, I'm going to give you the inside scoop on how you can use Etsy strategically to increase traffic and sales. Before we get started on this topic, let me give you a brief overview of what exactly qualifies me to be talking about this. I started my own stationery company, Betty Lou Paperie, in 2013 on Etsy, and since then, it has grown to 2 different successful revenue streams, one on my website and one through my Etsy shop. But it was not always smooth sailing, especially in the beginning, and I definitely was not an overnight success. I started from zero. I had no business experience, no mentors. As a wedding stationery designer, I didn't have any wedding connections. And I'm sharing this with you because I want you to know that I'm not unique. If I can do something like this, then so can you. When I first began, I had no idea what to do when it came to setting up my Etsy shop so that I could start driving traffic to my Etsy and also start making sales. Thankfully, I found a lot of amazing resources and mentors on the way who really helped me take my Etsy shop to the next level. My first step was to get really specific about who my ideal client was. So I love this quote by Seth Godin. Don't find customers for your products, find products for your customers. Rather than just creating a bunch of wedding invitations and different random products and hoping they'd sell, I decided to get really clear on who I was creating products for. When you get clear on this aspect, it can really drive everything that you start to do in your business. Your goal should always be to create products that are going to serve your clients. Not just to create products that you think are pretty or they might sell well. That is not a long-term strategy. When I finally made the decision to quit my full-time job and go all in on my side hustle, I knew that I was going to have to start doing things differently in order to increase sales and replace the income that I was making at my full-time job. That meant finding resources and mentors along the way who could really help me get my Etsy shop to the next level. By this time, I knew that I had already created a pretty viable product. So people had been purchasing from my Etsy shop and I'd had a good number of positive reviews. People really liked my designs and they were even coming back to me later on for all of their day of stationery too. My next step was to ensure that I was driving traffic to my Etsy shop, and I needed enough traffic to make sure that I could increase my sales. So I learned everything I could about search engine optimization. In other words, finding the right keywords to use in my listing, titles, and tags. Keywords are the predominant way that your items are going to be found on Etsy. And in order to do that, you have to think like a shopper. So let me walk you through how a shopper uses Etsy search so that you can gain a better understanding of this concept. Okay, so I recently bought a few things on Etsy and I'm going to share with you my exact thought process and how a shopper is thinking when they're going to look for items. So I wanted to decorate our house for the fall. And I wasn't really set on whether it should be Halloween themed or just fall decorations in general. And so what I decided to do was just go with fall decor. Now, I was looking for stuff inside the home and outside the home. So this was very broad. I really was not sure exactly what I was looking for. And so I just kind of started with a broad category to help me narrow down something. And so at this point, a lot of different listings are showing up. I'm not sure why the t-shirts are coming up because that's not what I was searching for, but I guess there's always little gaps in the Etsy search engine. So I really loved these little candy corn decorations. I thought that was cute. Loved the ghost. And so I kind of scrolled through these ideas for a little bit and decided that I really wanted to focus on fall porch decor. And I wanted something for outside of our house. So then I narrowed down my search a little bit more. And I found a few things that I thought would be really cute. I loved this pumpkin decor and I loved these little ghosts here. I actually bought these last year and then I also actually bought these this year. So I kind of found what I wanted at this point, but I did continue to search more because I wanted to see if there was anything else that I could put on the front porch that would add to our little fall look that I was going for. And I know that at that point, I know what it was. So I came across these little wooden porch leaner. I'm not really sure. I wouldn't necessarily call it a porch leaner, but I just knew it was like a wooden sign for my porch. And so what I decided to do was narrow that search down even more. Oh, similar to this, like a welcome sign or something like that. That's what I was looking for. So I decided to narrow that search down even more with a welcome, so fall porch welcome sign decor. Now I started to get a bunch of things that I thought would be really cute in terms of adding something extra to our porch decor. And I clicked on, at this point, I think one of these listings. Yeah. And so this, I actually bought this one over here on the right side. So this was how I ended up finding different products to decorate my porch for Halloween. And this is exactly how people are using Etsy search to search for wedding invitations. They are starting with a very broad category. And then they're finding something that they like. So this is a really pretty listing right here. This is perfect, actually. They're narrowing it down. So I love the floral elements here. And this is just a really pretty Etsy shop in general. Love this brand. And I love that you can see Wren's logo here. It really is perfect. And so from here, I'm going to take this as inspiration if this is not what I'm looking for. And I'm going to narrow my search down even more and go with floral wedding invitations. And as you can see, here's another shop that I'm really drawn to their designs. Here's another one from this same shop that I absolutely love. And so this is how brides and couples are using Etsy search to narrow down their selections. As you can see, a typical search starts out very broad. Maybe it's 1 to 2 keywords. And then as the shopper continues to search, it gets more specific, around 3 to 5 words. These more specific phrases are called long tail keywords. And long tail keywords consist of 3 to 5 words describing your product. For example, floral wedding invitations or calligraphy wedding vow books. So the reason that we are using these long tail keywords is because it can be very difficult to rank on the first page of search for wedding invitations. That's a very broad keyword that consists of hundreds of thousands of listings. However, it's a lot easier to rank on the first few pages of Etsy search for something more specific like watercolor floral wedding invitations. Plus, as you can see from that Etsy search example that I just walked you through, when people are using these more specific terms to search for items, they are more likely to purchase that item because it describes exactly what they're looking for. When people first begin on Etsy search, they are not really very specific when they're typing something into the search bar. Maybe they're just looking for ideas, or they just don't really know quite what they want yet, or what words they need to use to describe what they're looking for. So that's why that very first search is going to start out very broad. And then as the search continues, the shopper is going to get more specific in describing the product that they want. So now that you understand the basics of Etsy search and how that works to think like a shopper and find the right keywords for your products, I want you to start using these long tail keywords in your Etsy listing titles and tags. And I encourage you to be specific and intentional whenever you are selecting these long tail keywords for your items. We aren't using vague terms like the Laura collection, and we are also not going to get too specific using a bunch of jargon like dried flower wedding invitations. Instead, really start to think about keywords that people might actually be using to find what they're looking for. Maybe you could use something a little bit less specific than dried flower wedding invitations, and instead you might just use handmade wedding invitations. All right, if you found this video helpful, I have a brand new resource for you called the Etsy Shop Audit. I encourage you to download at valeriefreeman.com/audit for an easy to implement checklist that can help you determine what's working and what's not within your Etsy shop. There are so many easy wins that you can find inside of this download, whether you're just getting started on Etsy or you already have an established Etsy shop, but maybe it's just a little bit stagnant in terms of sales and growth right now. So head to valeriefreeman.com/audit to grab this Etsy shop audit today.